Hey everyone, it's Ten Types, and today I'm super excited to bring you some new cards that have just been revealed. Actually, they were revealed like yesterday or something, but I have looked at them and I've started theorizing about them, but I'm going to talk about them, I think, probably more on the podcast. So stay tuned for that. That'll be coming out on Monday, but I'm going to talk about the cards and some things with them. And first of all, I want to say I was a little rough on the uh, Paradox Pokemon, the Ancient Future Pokemon. There's some really cool cards. Although there are a few issues still with the mechanic, but anyway, we'll get to that later. There's a few specs. There's some really cool cards. There's a card that I'm like super hyped for. It's actually kind of like a reprint, but it's a really cool card. And yeah, so Reuniclus here. First of all, this is coming in Wild Forest and Cyber Judge. And now that I think about it, I don't know if we're gonna get all these in Temporal Forces. You'll see in a minute, but we'll get most of them. These cards I expect we'll all get. Anyway, Reuniclus. This is kind of interesting. Brain Shake 100 and Confusion for 2 is not so interesting, not particularly good. But then you have your first attack here, Summoning Gate for 1 colorless on a stage 2. Look at the top 8 cards of your deck and put any number of Pokemon you find there onto your bench. Shuffle the other cards into your deck. It's kind of like Orbital. I was going to make a video on it. It's really bad, Orbital, and it's going to rotate. I don't know. I don't know if this is going to be particularly good, but kind of funny. We've seen cards kind of like it. As I said, Orbital, Lucianus, Chandelure. Um, we've seen some stuff. I think Reuniclus is probably worse than all those other cards, which weren't that good. Chandelure was definitely playable, but it's a fun card. I figured I'd talk about it. I don't think there are any other cards. Oh, by the way, I'm on Poke Beach. Um, yeah, I think I've talked about all the other cards that we've seen revealed. Other than these brand new ones. Keep in mind, I like usually wait like a little under a day to record, so there could be some cards that have been revealed since that I'm not going to talk about just yet. But anyway, so we got Beldum. This is 50 cards. Oh, it's not actually 50 cards. Um, it's a bunch of cards. So first of all, we got Beldum, nothing good. Metang or whatever with Metal Maker. Metal Maker is pretty good here. So once during your turn, you may look at the top 6 cards of your deck, choose any number of basic metal energy you find there, and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like. Shuffle the other cards. Oh, and put them on the bottom of your deck. So let's go to Limitless real quick. And you got Magnezone, which is like this. Actually, it's slightly different. Magnezone, you shuffle them into your deck. It's kind of weird that you shuffle them, put them on your bottom of your deck. That seems kind of random, but that's fine, I guess. This is kind of interesting. Magnezone is 6 as a stage 2. Medang here is a stage 1. You look at 4. Um, I was going to say not lovable, searchable, but it's rotating, so it doesn't really matter. I don't really know what to think about this card. I think it's okay. I don't know if it's better or worse than Magnezone. Magnezone hasn't been that good, but it's seen some play, so I think this card has some potential to see play. You're obviously going to whiff a lot of the time. You're just going to hit like 1. Maybe that's like you're expected to be hitting 1 energy. It might even be less depending how many you're playing. Because you want to be playing a decent chunk, but obviously you need a bunch of the Metangs. But you can get multiple in play. Getting multiple Magnezones in play is pretty hard. You need multiple like rare candies and stuff. Multiple Metangs in play isn't that bad. But I think this is fine. I mean, Metal's not even that good of a type anyway, so it doesn't matter too much. But then Metagross Meteor Smash here. 60 next turn. Something is wrong here. This attack is either Meteor Smash or Comet Punch. I don't know, but it does 60 next turn. You do 120. Instead, it's translated wrong, but presumably it should have the same attack name. Um, yeah, and it is the same attack name. But so yeah, that's a pretty normal thing. Let me check. Metagross. Yeah, so presumably it is Comet Punch is the attack name. They forgot to translate it here as they copied it from this Metagross, which is it's a card. And then you can do 200 for 4 and discard 2. It's not that good. Yeah, I'm like looking at it. It's not good. So that's fine. But the meta is pretty interesting. I think it could see some play. Is worth considering. Obviously a bit inconsistent though. Pikachu, nothing too crazy. But then we see Raichu here. This does 50 damage to each Pokemon with damage counters on it. Other in this Pokemon, really interestingly, almost certainly it damages your own Pokemon, which is really it doesn't say that, or does it? I don't think so. Um, I obviously can't read Japanese, but I'm looking if there's like parentheses. Does Japan even use parentheses? I don't know. But anyways, you can damage your own Pokemon. This is potentially really interesting with Dodrio. It's kind of weird though. I don't think it's that good. Obviously, I mean, you are damaging your own Pokemon, but it's an interesting concept. Um, I think it's kind of cool, but we'll see. It's probably not very good, but kind of cool. Wiglet. Um, this is kind of fine. One color search for an item, reveal it, put into your hand, or not, one water, and then 40, 20 to yourself for two is not good, but it has Wug Trio EX. Yo, let's go. My computer's being slow. Okay, there we go. So 250 HP, Lightning Terra EX, pretty cool. Stage one, obviously. Using water energy, you have the Terra rule where you're immune to bench damage, but then Troika Pump or whatever, discard up to 3 energy cards from your hand. Choose one of your opponent's Pokemon. Does 60 damage to that Pokemon for each energy you discard in this way. So this is pretty decent. Also, the other attack's 120 for two. They can't retreat. That's not as good. But the first attack here, I believe you have to choose the same Pokemon, so you can do like kind of 180 snipe. 180 is actually a really nice damage number to hit. That being said, Wug Trio is I mean, this isn't amazing. It's fine. It's a nice like backup option, but I don't think there's another card like another Wug Trio. Really, is there? I mean, there are other Wug Trios, but I don't think there's a good one. Wait, there's three. Oh yeah, there's the one that searches for tools. The other one's not that good. I guess on average it does how much did it do? I don't remember. It does like a mediocre amount of like a 105 for two. Yeah, that's not that good on average. Some does 50 for one, and then there's the mill one. I think this card's potentially decent, but the I don't know. It needs something else, so we'll see. I kind of like Troika Pump though, but I don't think the card's great. Ghastly, pretty bad. Same thing with Haunter. Then we see Gengar EX. This is obviously a stage two. Darkness type, 310 HP. Kind of what you expect, still kind of low. Whenever your opponent attaches its ability says, whenever your opponent attaches an energy from the hand to one of their Pokemon, put two damage cards on this Pokemon. Now we've seen this before on a variety of Pokemon. I don't think it's still in the format, but I could be wrong. I think we saw it on Hadron V. We saw it on. Oh no, it's not on. It was on Glencar Solar V. Sorry, wrong card. And then it was on Dracozolt. It's on Calamitous. No, sorry, was it Snowy Mountain or whatever? And it was on. There's another card on Old Cemetery, and like it's those were okay, but this is a stage two. It's not very good. Trick Step 160. You may move an energy from your opponent's active to one of their bench. This is a minor disruption, and this also was disruption. It's not, unfortunately. It's just not a good card. Yeah, I don't like it. Could be on the bench and like cause damage, but it's not that good. Oh, Radiant Charger Bug as well. Like, yeah, there's so many ways to do this. Pretty much none of them have been that good, and this is more or less worse than the rest. Dot not good. Nuzleaf, not good. But then we got Shiftry. Shiftry is actually insane. Oh yeah, I didn't say this before. There's like a bunch of broken control cards. Or I don't know about broken. I forget all the ones, but there's some very good ones. These cards are like super sick. But there's one that I'm super hyped for. It's probably not that good, but it looks so sick. So Expelling Tornado. Choose through your opponent's bench Pokemon. Shuffle all of your opponent's other bench Pokemon and all cards attached into their deck. So this is really interesting. Assuming they have a bench of five, you essentially choose two to shuffle into their deck, which is really good. Um, if they don't have five, right, it's not so good. And there's no Echoing Horn. Echoing Horn's rotating. There's Erica's Invitation. You could Erica's Invitation, hope to hit something, and then just like completely mess up your opponent. There's also a few other shift trees. No, how? What is it? Oh, yeah. So there is what is this one? Oh, is this the like supporter one? Yeah, no. So this one, that one is rotating. Yeah, so we're gonna have one shift tree. The best one though, it does 210 for one, which is decent. Oh, I just closed the tab. Yeah, but it's not like that good. So I don't know. I like this shift tree. I think it's really cool. Potentially with that like Uniclus and control, kind of like Orbital. I think shift tree is kind of cool, but it's a bit weak, especially without Echoing Horn. So we'll see. Next up, Totodile, not good. Croconaw, not good. And then we see for okay, they're okay. but we'll get to them in a second. They're not that good though. Torrent Heart though, is your ability here is so good. First of all, 180 HP on a stage two, pretty good. There are some ways of buffing it to 280 or it's like other. No, I think only to 280. But you can buff it to 280 either using Luxurious Cape. Ooh, I can't talk Luxurious Cape or there's like an A spec one that I don't remember the name of. Let me find it. It is Hero's Cape. Yeah, Hero's Cape, but just buffs A spec tool uh 100 more HP. So you can get up to 280, which is very big, but not like impossible to knock out. But then you have your ability Torn Heart. Once you continue, put 5 damage counters on this Pokemon. Then you're going to be going down to 150 or sorry, 130 or 230. So you're not like super high, but it's okay. So if you go down to 130 though, or if you put the damage on, this Pokemon's attacks do 120 more to your points active this turn, which is a lot more. Obviously, that's like so you're boosting it from 160 to 280. I'm also going to talk about the pre-evolution attacks. 30 that would be boosted to 130, 10 would be boosted to 110, which is not too bad, because you can't use Great Wave back to back. And now I'll talk about Relicanth. Relicanth, basic Pokemon, its ability Deepen Memories, which is a semi-reprint of Shining Celebi, I believe is the right card. Each of your evolved Pokemon can use any attacks of its previous evolutions. You still need the energy, but that's like so sick. This is the card I'm most hyped about. I don't know if it's any good. I was like looking at stuff. I found a few good options. The first one that came to my mind was Arceus V-Star. There are times when you only have 2 energy when you want to copy Arceus of V. But then two other ones were Regieleki VMAX, which is super tanky, going up to essentially 210, or no, sorry, up to 410 HP, because you're taking 100 less and you have 310 HP. And then also you have Regigigas V Star, where you can copy Regigigas V's attack after you've been hit into, allowing you to do a decent amount of like quote revenge damage. I don't know. Also, does the V Star um let's see. Does the V-Star say you can't attack next turn? Yeah, okay, I was gonna say, or is it you can't use that attack? I was pretty sure you couldn't attack. But you can use Angry Whack. This confuse you as well, which is like kind of annoying. But like Angry Whack is super strong if you're hidden to for like 250. You're just gonna one shot something back. So I don't know. I think Relicanth is pretty cool there. I'm gonna look. I looked around. I think it's good in control as well, and that's also why I mentioned it with Feraligatr. It could be nice there. It's a one of attack. It's like super easy as well, so you could slot into different decks. Anyway, I don't know what the intended partner is. I was looking around and I couldn't see anything immediately. I guess there's this, but that doesn't seem good. Um, yeah, I don't know what it's intended to be used with. Let's take a look at the other cards though. But I was assuming it would be have some intended partner from this reveal, and I guess it might be Feraligatr, but that seems pretty underwhelming. If it is, but overall, it's a card I'm super hyped for. Whimsicott then lifting heal, or Cottonee is bad. Whimsicott lifting heal when you play this Pokemon to evolve. When your Pokemon you use this ability, heal all damage from your active Grass Pokemon if you do discard all energy from that Pokemon. I'm just like so disappointed that it discards all the energy. Grass is obviously notoriously bad. Yeah, that's like really all there is to say about it. It's not an awful card, but yeah. Litten's bad. Torracat is bad. And okay, sorry, I'm tired. That's what I'm saying. Incineroar EX, this one is not bad. Well, I don't know. It's interesting. Adversity Act. Um, so it's an ability. First of all, it's 320 HP on a stage 2 EX is pretty standard, pretty good. And then your attacks, or your ability attacks used by this Pokemon cost 1 colorless less for each of your opponent's benched Pokemon, which is really interesting. So let's say they got, like 3 is a pretty normal number, or 4. If you got 4, then your attack here for fire colorless is now free. Well, it's not free, it's 1 fire, but there's no colorless. And then it does 240, and your opponent's active is now burned. Oh, I didn't realize it did that as well. That's pretty good. Burn is obviously just free damage. Slightly better than free damage most of the time. There are certain things that stop special conditions, like there's like the ancient booster energy capsule, and then there are a few things, but like it's generally just 20 extra damage, potentially 40. depending on coins flips and stuff like that. But anyway, so that's pretty good, like 260. Someone was comparing it to Radiant Charizard. It's kind of similar. Radiant Charizard, obviously late game, big single price attacker. I do think Incineroar EX is potentially pretty good. But again, of course, your opponent can like play around it. In which case, I don't really know what you do. You probably like lose. There was a single price Incineroar from Silver Tempest, pretty cool. Copies actually the previous evolutions with its attack. You don't need the energy, and so you have you have like a Torcat and a Litten, which have like synergy together, which you could pair with this Incineroar EX. I don't know if it makes sense to, but it could be a thing. Notably against like lower bench space decks, but that's kind of a weird card. And then we have Giraffe Rig and for what is it? For Giraffe? I don't know. Anyway, so psi damage, 20, 10 more for each damage counter on your opponent's active. Pretty common attack. We've seen this on, I think it's directly worse than the Dene. I could be wrong, but there are a lot of cards like it. There's a Farfetch. There's a Mimikyu, which in my opinion is almost directly better than the one from Lost Origin. I mean, there's just a lot of cards like it, so it's fine. But then for Giraffe EX, 260 Dark type Terra EX now, so pretty cool. Pretty average HP. Prevent all, of course. It has an ability. Wait a second. Did I was looking at one of them. Oh, okay. So Wugtrio says that's a Terra. This one is a Terra, or is it not a Terra? Yeah, it is. Okay, so it's immune to the bench damage. But oh, I didn't actually read this card before. Whoa, okay. I looked at these guys, but apparently I missed this. Ability, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's basic Pokemon EX. Wow, that's good. That's like really solid. Um, Obviously there are some. It's not doesn't stop effects, and so there's Roaring Moon, which will just one shot you. This stops Chimpow, Miraidon. It's okay. I don't think it's bad by any means. I think it's a pretty good ability, a pretty nice wall, obviously. Zork will be rotating, which is unfortunate, so you can't pop that in here. But I think for Giraffe EX has some potential. It walls a few pretty decent things, but nothing crazy. Sneaky Beam, second colors 160, 30, 20 your opponent's bench. Pokemon kind of interesting here. Dark type is a nice type to cover. Um, Being weak to grass isn't that bad. There are some people trying to hit it because like the Roaring Moon and Charizard are grass weak, but it's not a huge deal. It's a mediocre attack though. It's nothing particularly interesting. Next up we have Roaring Moon, and so these are like the really cool cards. Well, I don't know. They kind of save the specifically the ancient ones kind of save ancient because I was not a big fan of it. I thought there were some cool cards, but it wasn't like a cohesive unit. But now it kind of is. Anyway, so we got, and then we have some items and some stuff, and then we have these trainers. There are A specs for future and ancient, which I'll talk about. But yeah. So Roaring Moon, first of all, and this is why I was saying I don't know if these are all coming because we saw a bunch of like single prize ancient and future Pokemon as well revealed before, and we have some. So I don't know what's gonna happen if we're gonna get like all these single prize. I don't know if we're gonna get like three Koraidons in a set. That seems like a lot, but you know it's possible. Or is it? No, maybe we're not. Um, three Great Tusks. I don't remember. Maybe it's only two of each, but I feel like they don't want to give out like absurd amounts of of like the Pokemon. But I wouldn't mind these coming in the next set. Anyway, so we got Roaring Moon. So Vengeful Feathers, 70 and does 10 more. So dark. Oh, you can do 120 for four, but like don't. Vengeful Feathers, 70 for two dark. And it does 10 more for each ancient card in your discard. So this includes well, all ancient cards, which are there are some trainers as well as obviously Pokemon. So you have no, what is it? You have Earth and Vessel. Earth and Vessel will discard. And you have like there's some other like supporter which I don't remember the name of off the top of my head, and it's not been revealed yet. But there's another ancient supporter in addition to Sada's Vitality. Sada's Vitality, of course, will help you pay this attack cost, as well as you can use Dark Patch. But I don't know. Roaring is kind of interesting. Potentially hitting like 200 or so. So if you have 13 ancient cards in the discard, you're hitting 200. So somewhere around that's like kind of reasonable, but still a bit of a reach. I think it's pretty cool though, and it has some potential, especially with Koraidon here. Koraidon. Oh, by the way, they both have 140 HP. Can be boosted up to 200 with Ancient Booster Energy Capsule, which is potentially nice, but it's not like absurd. But then Koraidon here, you got Primeval. Wait, what? That's not Primeval. Is that spelled right? Am I just imagining things? I don't know. Primeval battering 30 times. It does 30 damage for each ancient Pokemon in play. So if you have a full bench, it's going to be hitting 180. So that's good. Or full bench of ancient Pokemon is it's 180. This is like pretty good, but that's like good early game damage. And then you kind of want to transition into Roaring Moon. I like this. I think it's going to be pretty cool. You have these like two single prize attackers. I think it'll be like a fun basic single prize deck. Literally basic. And then you obviously have you need a bunch of like single ancient Pokemon that you're just going to toss in the deck, which is going to be a bit underwhelming. Like none of them really do anything. The Among Us guy, the Brute on it is like decent, I guess, with like the tool, but it's not like that good. And then that's about it. I don't think any of the other ones have like useful abilities. Where yeah, like Screamtail. Oh, there's like Sandy Shock CX, but like that's not that good. Oh, there's like a bunch because like there's the ones we have right now and the ones that are coming in the future. You compare this with the Great Tusk, leave it on the active to like mill yourself, but that seems kind of bad. Um, there are like some combos, but I don't know. And then you have Shred hitting through effects 130 for 3. Honestly, isn't like too bad, but it's not that good either. And then we have Great Tusk here. Great Tusk is like so different. But it's really funny. Again, 140 HP, so not that different. Right? These all okay. They don't all have like the same HP. With Great Tusk, 160 for 4. Like, don't use that. It's better than the 120 for 4, but it's still not that good. Crust Collapse. Just go the top 4 cards of your opponent's deck. No, top card. Sorry, for 2 colorless. If you played, I misread this before. If you played an Ancient Supporter from your hand, um, then discard 3 more cards from the top of their deck. So just can discard 4 every turn. This is pretty interesting. You can obviously use Double Turbo, and then you can use Professor Sada's Vitality, which you kind of have to because you need to be playing the Ancient Supporters. The other option is that other one, which I think it looked at the top 6, put 2 into your hand, discard the other 4, which is like fine. I don't know. The Ancient Supporters are something, but they're not that good. We've seen, we saw like Zangoose and Viper, which were for Rapid Strike and Single Strike. Yeah, it's fine. I think it's pretty fun. It's kind of like Durant Mill. In some senses, it's like easier to set up, but in some senses, it's like kind of awkward. Oh, I think this is better than Durant though. Um, you can use this with Ditto. You can copy it with Ditto, um, from Pokemon Go. But that being said, like it obviously it's not. You can't use Status Vitality to it. So I don't know if it's like worth it, but you could. I don't know what like engine you'd use, but overall, I think this card's pretty cool. There's not like a ton of mail. There's like Chandelier. Don't do that. But yeah, I think Great Tusk is pretty cool, and is gonna be like a fun kind of silly meal deck. Not too good though. I hope it's not too good, and I don't think it'll be that good. Iron Valiant here. Iron Valiant's kind of weird and wacky. I guess it's not that weird, but it's like, you got calculation. They'll look at the top 4 cards of your deck and put them back in any order. But then you have on 130 HP to retreat. I'm assuming there are 2 costs on. Yeah, these are like kind of high. Not that high. Two of them are 2, and then Great Tusk is 3. But anyway, Iron Valiant. So you got 100 for 3. Psychic Colorless, but if you played a Future Supporter from your hand during this turn, does 100 more. The Future Supporters are worse than the Ancient Supporters. There's like Cryptomaniacs Deciphering or something that you look at, search through your deck, put any 2 cards in top, and then you like shuffle your deck after, but not those 2. They go on top. The rest of your deck is shuffled. Um, it's like a fine card, but like it doesn't necessarily have a ton of synergy. I guess it has synergy with Zadu. So ideas like this and Zadu and Cryptomaniacs Deciphering or whatever. And then of course you do have Professor Turret Scenario as well. That's the one that's currently out, which is kind of like a scoop up type card, but like you don't need that. So um, you like have to play it because, I mean, you have to because you need to play supporters. So or you could just do Cryptomaniacs Deciphering, but like that seems kind of bad. Anyway, I think Iron Valley is like interesting and potentially pretty playable, but I'm not a massive fan of this card. And then we have Miraidon, pretty interesting here. Speed peak 40. Whoa, okay, I didn't read this right either. So it does 40 damage, so check for up to 2 basic energy. Attach them to your future Pokemon, and we like. There's a deck called TDK, something like that. It was the Team Plasma deck. And people are saying, oh, like future like it, but it was missing a card, the Thunderous. Is TDK the right deck? I don't know, but the cards people were talking about was Deoxys EX, which boosted damage, which is like Iron Crown EX. Lugia EX, which is like Iron Hands EX taking an extra prize from taking a KO, but not a ton of damage, and a lot of energy. And then lastly, is Thunderous. Thunderous EX, which accelerates damage. No, accelerates energy and does a little bit of damage. Miraidon is kind of like that. So Miraidon's like not that good though. 40 obviously is not a ton of damage. You're not hitting anything for weakness being Dragon type. I don't know if it's like essentially. Is it possible to hit Dragon weakness? I think it is. I'm getting sidetracked. You don't hit Dragon weakness. Sorry. You can do Lightning, Psychic 1 to 60, which is pretty good honestly. Like that's not bad. Not amazing though. Like I was saying, how bad 160 for 4 was. It's 160 for 3 here isn't like amazing. But yeah, it's like people talking about Future Box. I don't think Brandon's that good. The only upside is you can get like a bunch of Iron Crowns and potentially be like hitting a good enough damage. So I don't know. I think Brandon's playable. I think it's kind of fun. Also, Iron Valiant's damage output's pretty like decent. If you're hitting 100, so if you're hitting 200, boost a little. It can be like one-shotting stuff, like one-shotting certainly basic EXs and stuff. Potentially stage 1 EXs, potentially stage 2 EXs, but probably not. Potentially like B stars, probably not V maxes. But I think Brydon and Iron Valiant kind of cool cards. Lastly, we have Iron Treads with Pokemon Dual Core. Well, this Pokemon has Future Boost Energy Capsule attached. It's both a fighting and a metal type. That's kind of cool, but like also not that cool. Like, why do you need to be like I don't know? They're just kind of random types. They're not bad types. They're not like amazing types. Fighting's better than metal. Having more types is good, I guess. Yeah, at first I thought you could hit both weakness and resistance, but you can't with this card, as far as I'm aware, or at least it like doesn't happen. There are always weird scenarios. We can change weakness, but yeah, that's like fine. And then 60 for 2, moving into this Pokemon to one your bench Pokemon. Unfortunately, this card's like not really good. I don't really see where you'd ever like play this, unfortunately. Then we got Order Box. Order Box, kind of interesting card, like Camping Gear. Is that the card? Something like that. Which I think it is rotating. Yeah, it must be rotating. Oh, I misclicked. Yeah, because it came out in Battle Styles, right? Yeah, camping gear. So in this case, you search your deck for 2 items and put them into your hand, and then reveal them, and then your turn ends. That is pretty mediocre. I like control, so I like stuff kind of like this. But you use your items to grab other cards, so now you have like all this deck space, and you're obviously not like doing anything. Some people are saying, oh, you can use it to end turn 1. No, don't do that. I guess more people are playing stuff like Rotom V, but no one's playing Sylveon V. Like Sylveon V is this guy, or it's half this guy, but like no one plays. I've essentially never seen Sylveon V. I've seen it like once or twice, but and Sylveon V is search for an item and then end your turn, but it's an ability, and then it evolves into it was V. People like playing Vs because you can use Force Seal Stone, and then it evolves into Sylveon V Max, which is a pretty good V Max, not like an amazing one, but a pretty techable one. It's a pretty cool card. People don't play that. I don't think Ordevax is particularly good. I don't think it's awful, but like you need to kind of search it out or play like 4. You don't really want to play 4 unless you're playing control. I'm probably gonna mess around with this in control, but aside from that, it's pretty mediocre. Next up we got okay. What is this? What are hand clippers like they're like nail clippers for like your hand. You like chop off people's hands. This is like kind of disturbing, but anyways, so it's excuse me, another item card. Both players discard cards from their hand until they have 5 cards. Oh, sorry, I'm a little sick. Mm. So this is kind of interesting. Obviously, it's like disruption. Actually, it's pretty good. Excuse me. You can potentially discard cards from your own hand. It could be useful. It could be like bad. Um, you probably won't discard many cards from your hand with this guide, so it's not like a upside or a downside. It just won't really happen. But yeah, potentially decks like Lost don't get big hands as well as I don't know. There are a number of decks like Goldingo can get big hands, but it really doesn't get massive hands. But there are a few decks that get big hands, and at that point, hand clippers could be a way to punish them, which is kind of cool. And then there are some other ways to punish the hand more, which we'll talk about. I think there's some more cards. I don't remember though. Uh, oh yeah. So there's Grabber. Grabber removes Pokemon from their hand, which is kind of cool. Then we have I'm gonna talk about now. Yeah, I'll just talk about Emergency Board, a tool card. Um, it's kind of like a skateboard, unsurprisingly. But like Emergency Boy, that's like such a bad name. I don't think it's the actual name, but like it's just like a skateboard. I mean, Pokemon does some pretty awful names as well. Like hand clippers, Who translated these? Anyway, the Pokemon this card is attached to pays one color less for retreat. If this Pokemon has 30 HP or less, it has no retreat. Why would you have 30 HP or less? That's like not really gonna happen. It can happen against Sarina, but like, why would that happen? It's kind of weird. So yeah, it's pretty much like one less retreat. It's fine. I mean, it's kind of like a skateboard. A skateboard was kind of weird. It kind of filled a certain niche with like Jirachi. And like calling it like U-turn board seems kind of weird. It's like weaker than U-turn board and a skateboard, I guess. But like, you know, maybe if your opponent hits you really hard, like you're not ever gonna expect to have less than 30 HP, so you're not gonna build around that. It's fine. I think it's a pretty good card though. Potentially playable in Lost Zone. It's not bad there, but I'd probably play Beach Court over it. Well, they're kind of different, and Jet Energy is also kind of like it, kind of different. But yeah, emergency board. It's a card, pretty decent. I think you'll see some play. We'll of course see how much what the retreat cost is going to be on like Pokemon and stuff though. Yeah, because Sincerity also another card that says heal all damage from one of your Pokemon with 30 or HP or less 30 HP or less remaining. Like, why would you have this? This is a counter to Serena, right? It can counter some other things, but mostly counter Serena. If you figure out certain damage, break points, you can like be like, oh, I just survive and then I can heal. But like, what? I don't know. This guy's okay. I don't know if people are gonna be able to make good use of it. You kind of need to be able to, honestly damage yourself so then you can heal. I don't know. This card's potentially interesting. Shell will be rotating, but we are not losing. Obviously, Professor Toad's scenario, which is kind of healing. I don't know. Bianca's fine. Bianca's sincerity is fine. Eri, I have no idea who this character is. Is this a new character? I don't know. It looks like Scarlet Violet, but I could just be making stuff up. Anyway, look at your opponent's hand, choose two item cards you find there, and discard them. That's insane. So you can use Grabber, like get rid of their Pokemon, Area to get rid of their items, and obviously, you first use hand clippers. Your opponent does. Oh, your opponent discards first, and you don't like draw if you're less than that or anything, but like which is like some card that I forgot the name of. Hugh. Yeah, there we go. But like, they're down to five. Then they probably have two items in a Pokemon. Like, if they have like a 6 or 7 card hand, they're gonna keep probably one Pokemon, probably items because items are good. So you're gonna get them down to a 2 card hand of probably a supporter or two. Like you're gonna get like they might have a supporter, right? That's the problem. Um, but like getting rid of their resources. Well, okay, Grabber doesn't get rid of it; it goes like to the bottom of the deck or something. But like you're getting rid of their items, which is pretty decent. I don't know. I like this combo. I think it could be pretty good and control, not like broken or anything though. Now we got two A spec item cards: the one's ancient, the one's future. And these look cool. They look kind of weird. Like, oh, it's Drum of Awakening. So it's like, okay, it's a drum. Um, an ancient drum, I guess. So then it's pretty simple here, but draw a card for each your Pokemon in play. This is really interesting and something we just don't see on item cards, and it just draw. It's like a big draw. We've obviously seen stuff like Acrobat Trekking Shoes. Trekking Shoes isn't rotating. Those are just kind of like drawn items, but they're very low amounts of drawn items. They're draw one. This can potentially drop to, well, six or more, but not in standard as far as I'm aware. Um, so drawing six is good, right? Drawing six on an item is broken. Drawing six on an A-spec item is broken. Um, it will not always be drawing six, right? That's the problem. But if it is drawing six, if you're drawing four, it's good. You should be drawing at least four though. So this is going to be in a deck that's focused around where was it these Koraidon and Roaring Moon, and then you play the Drum of Awakening, and that's good. Like this is it probably only goes in that deck. You could play it in like well, you probably don't play it in Roaring Moon. Like Draw Two is pretty mediocre, and Prime Catcher is pretty good in that deck. I think Prime Catcher is like the main thing it's competing with. It's kind of like a turbo-y card. Um, yeah, so like I don't know. I think it's very good in decks. It's well, very good, and it's just gonna be like decks with obviously lots of ancient Pokemon, and everything else. It's kind of bad, but yeah, overall, pretty cool card. And then Reboot Bot. What is this? Like, what am I looking at? Anyway, this card is super cool. Oh, it's a like refueling station. Okay, for each. Okay, so this one I was also a little confused about the wording. I think I understand it. But it's a little weird and unclear in my opinion, but I might just be being dumb. So Item card for each of your future Pokemon in play. Choose one basic energy from your discard pile and attach it to that Pokemon. So I believe this is to like each different Pokemon. So potentially, obviously, could accelerate six energy. It's like not gonna accelerate six energy. You're not gonna have six basic energy in your discard pile. Um, and six future Pokemon in play, and actually like want all of them on that Pokemon because why do you want Pokemon or energy on like all your Pokemon? That's kind of weird. Um, I don't know. I think this card's potentially really good though. Obviously, not for accelerating six energy, but accelerating like three or four can be really nice in like a future toolbox style deck. This can be used to power up Iron Leaves. I would not recommend it. Iron Leaves is not that good, but can be used to do that. But then it can also be used, obviously, to power up like all sorts of things. The issue with this is it's not powering up a Pokemon. It's giving one energy to a Pokemon. So you will then need to probably use Energy Switch. But I don't know. I think, and then obviously you might want to do six energy with Energy Switch. I kind of like this card. Oh, I don't think there's any way to move energy like at all. There's no Bronzong, no Florges. Um, I guess there's Dusknoir. Dusknoir is not rotating, right? Or maybe like, is it rotating? No, it's not. But like, it's special energy, right? So like, you can't move the energy around anyway. Um, Yeah, I don't know. I think it's cool. I would love to see a way to move the energy better, but overall, I think Reboot Bot is super sick. Can be used, as I said, to power up Iron Leaves or like Iron Crown or Iron Valiant or any Pokemon that starts with Iron. Um, yeah, Reboot Bot's super good. Obviously, it'll only be good in future decks. I think these two aspects are pretty cool. I like them more than like the Crystal Wall. The ones that are like only good with one Pokemon. These are only good in like one or two decks, maybe three or four, but like they're really good. They're really cool and unique. And overall, I'm super hyped to be playing with these cards. I think Drum of Awakening doesn't have a ton of like value. I mean, drawing cards is always good, but like it doesn't do something unique that you like can't. I mean, you could have just drawn into those cards in your opening hand, but then Reboot Pod obviously does something very unique with its energy acceleration, or not super unique, but relatively unique with its energy acceleration. Also, it's kind of like Sada's, Professor Sada's Vitality, which is kind of like a weird thing that you have two cards that are like of the opposite type, but they do the same thing. But anyway, overall, I'm super hyped. I think the best ones. I mean, I think they're pretty much not all of them are good, but a lot of them are good. I'm super hyped to running with these and like messing with them. But I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, consider subscribing, liking the video, and as I said, I think I'm going to talk about more use cases of these on the podcast. I don't know. You can comment that down below and tell me what you want me and Uncommon Fossil to talk about. Um, I doubt he's seen them. Mine maybe is. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed though, and as always, I'm excited to see you in the next video. And subscribe. I want to hit. I think my goal. I don't know. I don't have. I want to hit 1,000 this year, obviously, but anyway, subscribe, share it, all that good stuff. See ya.